Okay guys, in this video what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to build this thing here and this thing. We're going to use a tool called the biral tool to do most of this. It's a pretty useful tool when you want to do things like this, so let's go ahead and get started. Okay, let's go ahead and go to isoparm. It's weird when that happens. Let's try that again, isoparm, and drag this over. Let's put one about there. It's a little too close, so let's put one about there. Hold shift. I want it to be pretty wide, so right about there. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and go to your surfaces menu. And we're going to insert those isoparms. Alright, so far so good. And now we're going to select these two isoparms. And we're going to go to curves and then duplicate surface curve. Modify center pivot. And we're just going to move these up a bit. These are going to serve as our two rails. Okay. Now we need a profile curve. We're going to put this kind of H looking profile curve in here. So it's going to go basically up, across, down. So we're going to go to create CV curve tool. And before we do anything, we're going to hit the C key. And you'll notice that it snaps on this curve, so that's good. Then let's go to front view. And let's have it, I'm going to hold shift here while I do this. Have it go up, down, so go across, go back to perspective. Okay, let's go back to front view. Let's hit delete because we put that one over a little too much. There. Now we're going to go up, over, and down. Okay, now you'll notice it's a little tricky here. So let's go to perspective. We want to connect these. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to hit the C key on my keyboard, snap the last curve to here. Okay. Let's go back to front view. Let's look at it from here. Let's give it a shot and see how this thing looks. Might be okay. Actually, I think this is gonna look a little strange, but well, let's see. If it does, we could always do it over. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna go to surfaces, biral 1 tool. Now, let's get rid of this. You'll see it says down here, it says select the profile curve, which is this. Then it says select two rail curves. This is a rail curve, and this is a rail curve. And then it makes this nice shape. Okay. Yeah, I don't think we needed this piece here. We probably could have done without that piece. The way we could fix this is we could go to isoparm. Select this. So let's go to this one. And we're going to go to surfaces, detach. So we can just select this and just get rid of it. Okay. It's pretty good. Pretty much what we're going for. Don't worry too much about the back because we're going to go ahead and put the back inside anyway. Okay, so that's pretty good. I like the way that looks. Now we're going to go to isoparm. Isoparm. Then we're going to go to surfaces, loft. Close that up. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Isoparm. isoparm, surfaces loft. Now you'll notice this one's discolored, so we're going to fix it. Reverse direction, okay? And finally, let's go ahead and go to isoparm. Yeah, that one's going to be a little tricky to do. So what we'll do, we really want to close that up. We could kind of loft this around. Go to create, CV curve tool. I'm going to go to right view here. Alright, let's go ahead and move this thing over. Modify center pivot. And we're just going to take this isoparm, take this curve, go to surfaces, extrude, tube, add path component. Okay, that didn't work. So what we'll have to do is go to isoparm, go to curves, and duplicate surface curve. So now you're left with this curve here. And then click this, and then go to surfaces, extrude. You can't do it with a, make sure you do these. You can't do it with an isoparm, unfortunately. Okay, it's looking weird. Let's go to, we're going to do something. If this menu for you is closed, go ahead and open it, and click this one. If you click that, you notice you can't select the surfaces anymore. Okay. So we're going to try doing this again. Alright, surfaces extrude option. So I'm going to do tube, add path component, profile normal. Let's reset this real quick. This should work. For some reason I'm getting I'm getting a really weird shape here. It's not what I want. It's strange. Let's try this. Let's delete this curve. Let's go ahead and make it cubic. Go to right view. There we go. Alright, let's move this over. Modify center pivot. We're going to take this curve, modify center pivot. That's probably the issue is I forgot to center the pivot. Okay, let's try it again. Surfaces extrude. Everything's set up so we can just hit it. There we go. That's what we want. Perfect. Very good. Okay. Modify center pivot. This looks good. We're going to go ahead and turn our surfaces on real quick. Let's go ahead and reverse direction. We want to close these up. There's a few different ways I could approach this. I think the easiest way would be to go to isoparm, then go to surfaces loft. And this looks like it pretty much gives us what we're looking for here. What we could do is we could go to hull, just take this bottom hull and drag it right through the mask. This maybe isn't the greatest modeling technique, but you know, it'll work. Make sure it goes right through. looks pretty good. Let's just fix this one. If you ever notice this camera, like for me, it's getting in the way, go to Display, and then Hide Selection, because that's annoying. Okay. Reverse that direction, and this thing looks good. I like the way that looks. The back is a little weird, so we could probably fix that. Let's select all this and delete the history on it. Edit. Delete all by type history. Let's see. Let's try to group this stuff together real quick. Control G. Make sure you have all the pieces selected. Hit Control G. Go to Control Vertex. Grab these verts. This is where it gets annoying. I guess we could keep that. There's other ways we could modify it, but let's just keep that for now. All right, so hit up to get the whole group, and then hit Control D. Hit W. Modify center pivot. Move it over, and we're going to go to Scale X and put -1. Now to mirror image, which is what we're looking for. Okay, so this is actually looking pretty good. I like the way this looks. Move it out a little bit. Let's move this out a little bit. Modify center pivot. Okay, it's kind of weird that it's all the way down here. I'm going to hit Insert on the keyboard, move it up, then hit Insert to turn it off. It's better. Okay, that looks good. Last thing I'm going to do is I want to create this detail in here. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to go to Isoparm, select this one, go to Isoparm, select this one, and let's go ahead and loft this. This thing I actually want it to be cubic because I want it to be smooth. Let's do about 5 divisions. Go ahead and loft. Alright, looks good. Now we're going to go to Hull. That looks great. Just go to Hull here. It's actually a really tricky thing to make. It's technical and it's kind of difficult to make, but it seems like we did a pretty good job on this. Let's raise this up a little bit. Okay, so now the only thing we have to do is close it up. Now you'll notice that these two pieces are here, so they look good, but this doesn't go in the front. So there's an easy thing we could do here. We'll take this curve here, we're going to duplicate it, hit Modify Center Pivot, bring it down. It's kind of a hack, so bring it in here, right there. Go to Isoparm, and then go to Surfaces Loft. Okay, let's put the spans to 2 and go ahead and loft it, and that'll close it up. And what we could do is we could go to Hull. You take this hull, and we can bring it out and down. You know, if you want to add more hulls, you can, but I kind of like the way this looks. You could get rid of that curve, you don't need it. Alright, I think this looks pretty good. Some nice detail on the top of the helmet. Back here, we're actually going to cover up with some tubes, so with this video, we're done now.